Hi guys, a wonderful morning to all of you. Very good morning my friends. Welcome to the mock discussion, that is our open mock discussion by BYJU'S exam prep. I'm Srinivas. I'm going to talk about what happened in the open mock 15. Please understand this is the mock number 15 that we have given as open. It was written by almost about 7,000 students. I don't remember the exact number, from all over the country. We have the results. The results have already been displayed. The session today is going to talk about the analysis of this particular mock to understand how was it in comparison to what happened in the actual CAT of CAT 2022 in all the three sessions. I hope you all understand that CAT happens in three sessions: forenoon, noon and afternoon. So three sessions. So we are going to look at a comparison of how each section of this particular open mock was in comparison to the actual CAT 2022, and then we will go to each individual section and try to see what could have been the best way to attempt the section. Was it more difficult, less difficult, or at the same level as what CAT was? Okay, so we have the scores, we have the percentiles that students have achieved. Let's go ahead and take a look at what basically happened in this exam. So I've got a lot of good mornings. Yes, very good morning to all of you. I have my phone beside me, so I'll be checking my phone once in a while to look at the messages that I'm getting. So Moin, Manjusha, Deepali, Tripti, Trinab, Aditi, Shib, Rajashri, Arnav, Rohit, Nru Singh, Mohit. Good score in this mock test. Mohit, you will be getting what is a good score. Please hold on, hold your horses. This is going to be a lengthy session, so I hope you have some popcorn ready with you. This is not going to be a half an hour, 45-minute session, guys. I'm telling this upfront. This will go on for at least 1 hour, 45 minutes to 2 hours, because we're going to discuss all the three sections. Probably not all the questions in the three sections. However, we will discuss some really good questions in the three sections. So there is, you need to be patient here, today for the next 1.5 to 2 hours. Right, so let's go ahead and take a look at this. By the way, guys, is my audio video clear? Is my audio, especially the audio part, very clear? Because shakal ka kya hai, aap dekh liye to that's fine. But is my audio really clear? Is there any disturbance? Can you please quickly confirm? Aditi, good morning. Surendra, good morning. Vikram, Ashutosh, Amritanshu, Shreya, a very good morning to you all too. Okay, another thing that I just realized, my friends, there is about 5 to 7 seconds lag, because when I asked you, is the audio clear, and I started counting, because I know there is some lag. So there is about 5 to 7 seconds lag between what I am asking and what you are responding. So please keep that in mind. So when you ask me a question, there might be a delay because of the lag, or I might have missed it. So if there is a question that I am missing and I'm not answering in about 5-10 seconds, it means I've missed it. Please post it a little bit later. I'll definitely look at the comments. I'll keep looking at the comments and answer your queries. All right. So friends, first few things to understand. This is mock number 2, open mock. Okay. So we have a total of 4 open mocks. The meaning of an open mock is anybody in the country can write this open mock, and it's not just for BYJU'S students. Anyway, BYJU'S full-time students, BYJU'S test series students, they will anyway write this, but it is accessible to everybody else also. So the advantage of an open mock is that you will be competing against the best and the serious students across the country, not just the students who are good enough and taking training from BYJU'S. So you'll have a lot of other serious contenders from outside of the BYJU'S ecosystem too. So my serious advice to you, do not miss an open mock. The second important thing about an open mock, well, there will be a recorded solution given to all the students who write the open mock. So there is a complete video recording that I have done on DILR and quantitative ability. My colleagues have done for the verbal ability part. So all the three sections, every question has a recorded video that has been given to you if you have written the mock. So that's another added feature. Apart from that, there is a very beautiful new feature that we have come up with over the last year, and we are continuing it this year also. Nobody else in the industry does this. Nobody else in the training institutes do this, and that is giving you the idea of a live attempt. So what is the meaning of a live attempt? See, when a mock is created, people like me who attempt the mock, for example, if I am attempting the mock, I will record the entire 40 minutes of that section continuously without a break, and I would not have seen the paper beforehand, but with a running commentary, because I will, when I talk, so because we are faculty, we'll be able to do things slightly faster. So we are talking, I'll explain why I'm picking this particular question, so you can see how my mind works when I attempt this question. Similarly, when my colleague Mr. Gautam does the same thing happens, because he comments why is he picking this particular question, why is he leaving this particular question. Similarly, everybody makes mistakes, we also make mistakes. You will also see us recovering from mistakes. How do we quickly realize our mistake? Sometimes our mistake is to pick a wrong question, very lengthy. What do we do in such a case? Sometimes our mistake is a silly mistake, making the same mistake 3 times, 4 times, and then we'll say, okay, we have been very stupid, we shouldn't have done that, leave this question, move on. So you'll actually get to see how you should go ahead and attempt the mock, because we will be doing it as an example for you. But keep in mind, these attempts that we do, we are taking without having the prior knowledge of the paper. So in my opinion, this is one of the really good learnings, because when you see us making the mistakes and recovering, that is what you need to learn. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a look at the next dates. What are the next dates? Sir, where is all the faculty? Ashutosh, unfortunately, today I am the only person who is going to take the session. It's all verbal, Quant and DILR I'll be handling today. I think I'm decent enough for VARC also, because I've been consistently getting 99.5, 99.6 in VARC over the last 5-6 years. I'll also tell you the reason why. But for now, I think I'm good with that. Anyway, so let's move on. Okay, I have few comments coming in. Let me just check few comments. Okay, let's move on. Right. Okay, now 2 open mocks are done. The third open mock, remember, open mock number 3. It's going to go live. It's going to go live on 29th September. So just few days left. And the registrations for this are already open. So please go to the app. If you are not a BYJU'S student, go to the app and you can register for this and write the mock. Of course, if you are a BYJU'S student, whether a test series student or a online program student, doesn't really matter. You will anyway have this mock coming to you regularly. Okay. Now we have a last and final open mock number 4. This is going to come to you on the 4th of October. Sorry, not 4th of October, end of October. End of October, somewhere around 27th or 28th, whenever that Sunday is. But we will confirm the date as soon as possible. As of now, the tentative date is the end of October. That is going to be the final open mock. Alright. Now, let's look at the agenda for the session. What are we going to discuss? As I said, we'll look at the mock percentiles. We'll look at actual CAT score and the percentiles. Then we'll look at the section wise what happened. In CAT 2022, what happened? And in this particular mock 15, what happened? And we will also give you an understanding of what happened in the first open mock, which is mock number 12. So this was the first open mock. Mock 15 was the second open mock. Now for those of you who are not from the BYJU'S ecosystem, please understand these are the numbers for the sequence of mocks: mock 1, mock 2, mock 3. That's how it started. So we are currently in the 15th mock, and the 15th one we gave it for the entire country. Similarly, the 12th mock we gave for the entire country. Now we will be having a total of 25 mocks for CAT. MOCKS. Okay, so the students who have joined BYJU'S will be getting a total of 25 mocks. So please make sure that if you are interested, you can join the test series even today. There are 10 more mocks left for you. Of course, you will be able to write all the 15 mocks that have been completed till now. It's not that you can't write them, but there are 10 more which are going to go live in the future. So you are interested in it, please join ASAP. Now, and we'll also discuss the questions of mock 15. So that's the agenda for today. With that, let's move on. Okay, so guys, this is what happened. Rather, what happens for you to understand the difference between mock percentile and CAT percentile. Now, I want to spend a little bit of time trying to explain this to you. Yes, of course, all my BYJU'S students will be knowing this, but if you don't, please pay a little bit of attention. What do we mean by mock percentile versus CAT percentile? First, please understand, my friends, that what you get in the mocks are not or is not the same as what you will get in the open CAT or the actual CAT. Now, why will that happen? Let us say, I'll take an example that I am writing a mock today with a particular mental status, particular intelligence level, and the same intelligence status, same person is writing the actual CAT. The CAT is also having the same level of difficulty. Even then, the percentile that I am expected to get, as a part of writing the mock is going to be different from what I'll be getting in the actual CAT. So what we have here is a table that tells you the two different comparisons. Now here what you need to understand is, if you get a mock percentile of 50, so if you go and write a mock CAT and you got a 50 percentile, same performance, same difficulty level paper in actual CAT, you will end up getting a 70 percentile. Similarly, somebody is getting a 80 percentile in mock, same performance without any improvement, same difficulty level, you go and write in CAT, we expect that to become 92 to 93. Similarly, somebody is getting a 99 already, is expected to get 99.5 plus. Now, you need to understand the logic. Some of you know this, some of you won't or don't. So please understand the logic why. Guys, mocks are written by few thousands. If you count all the students who are writing mocks in all the institutes, it will not be more than some 20-25,000. All the mocks in all the institutes, it will not be more than 25-30, even 35,000. But the number of students who are applying for CAT are almost close to 2 lakhs. The people who actually write the CAT will be about 1.8 lakhs. So you're talking about 25 to 35,000 serious students and a ranking among these. Versus when you go for CAT, you're talking the same students along with others, adding up to a total 1.8 lakh students. So when more students write, many of them are non-serious. So what happens when people who are not serious write the mock, usually write the CAT exam, they will not get any great marks. So with your same performance, you will be at the same level, but there will be a lot of people who will be behind you because their rank is going to be much lower. They did not prepare seriously. Obviously, percentile means the number of people who are behind you. So somebody who's 50 percentile among the serious students will be 70 percentile because a lot of these 1.8 lakh students will be going behind the 50 percentile people also. So your percentile will improve. If you are at an 80 percentile today in a mock, because you are in the top 20% of the good, interesting and serious students, but when you club them with everybody else, there will still be some students who are going to be behind you, and that will go up to 92 to 93 percentile. And finally, when you're already in the top 99, now everybody else will be coming. So, but you're already in the top 1%. How much more can you go forward? That 99 can go only up to 99.5, 99.6. Okay, so that's what we expected, and that's what we have been seeing over the last so many years of comparing mocks with the actual CATs. So this is not a random table that we have put. We have analyzed the data that we had collected over the last 5-7 years. Students' performance consistently with mapping their performance in their mocks and looking at their actual CAT scores, and we drew this conclusion, and this is what we have. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a look at what happened in our mock actually. Now this is for you to understand, was the mock easy, difficult or moderate? So guys, what do you think? How was the mock? First, let me take your opinion before we get into this. Let me take your opinion. Vikram, it's 3.3 lakh this year. Wow, that's very high. I was not aware of this. Rohit, Vikram, Dishripan says 3.3 lakh this year. 3.3, I think that's the highest ever, if I'm not mistaken, because I remember the highest number of students was way back in 2006 or 2007 when actually I wrote my CAT for the first time. So that was 2.8, 2.7. So 3.2 is crazy. It's beating all the previous records without a doubt. So that's huge. So out of 3.2, you can take 10-15% will not appear. So even then 2.9 or 2.8 lakh people, That's higher than the maximum applications ever received by CAT. So no doubt it's a great great news. Okay, so let's look at what you guys are saying. How do you rate this mock out of 10? Mohan, rating the mock out of 10 on what parameters? Difficulty parameter, closeness to CAT, intelligence, calculative, was it really lengthy or calculative? What is the parameter? You can't just rate a mock. There has to be on a parameter. Okay, so please tell me what parameter do you need, and probably we can take a look at it. But anyway, that's going to be the part of the discussion for the next 1.5 hours. Don't worry, we're going to do that. Okay, many of you are saying easy to moderate, it was amazing, DILR was tough, headlines over everywhere, yes, LRDA was a little tough in the latest mock, it was tougher than the last one for sure. Okay guys, let us see whether what you are saying is true or not. Numbers don't lie. So one is your opinion, second is what we actually have as numbers. So let us see whether you guys are right or not. Many of you are saying this is easy to moderate. Many of you are saying this is easy to moderate, okay, as a difficulty overall, but DILR was difficult, or at least moderate plus. I'll not use the word difficult. It was not easy. Let's put it this way. It was not easy. It was not easy to moderate. It was definitely moderate or slightly more than moderate. That is what you guys are saying. Let us see whether the numbers corroborate your story or your opinion. Okay. Okay. So this is what we have. So this is the actual CAT 2022 average scores, because our CAT 2022 had 3 slots, right? We can't put all the 3 slots because that's going to take up too much of space. So we have put up an average score for CAT 2022. Okay, this is the final score. So when I say average score, it's the final score that a student would have got, because you will get a score irrespective of which slot you are, and that score is what we have picked up. Now let's start from 80 percentile. 80 percentile last year CAT was at 35.5 marks overall, whereas CAT 12 you needed 52 marks. That is the previous open mock, you needed 52 marks, and this particular mock, the open mock, you needed 49 marks. What does this tell you guys? Between mock 1 and mock 2 and actual CAT, tell me what should be the sign, difficulty level. Which is difficult, which is easier, lesser than, greater than? Can you put the signs? Let me see the chart. How many of you can do this? Okay, I'm getting, yes, I'm getting few answers. Perfect. So to get the same percentile, you are having, or you needed a higher mark, which means many students got higher marks. So definitely the actual CAT was difficult than CAT 1. So actual CAT was difficult than mock 1. Now what about your mock 1 and mock 2? Which do you think is more difficult? Between mock 1 and mock 2, which do you think is more difficult? $49 marks. Now 49 marks means your students at 80 percentile were able to score, in this case, in fact if you look at the average, yes, so this is lower, this is also lower, this is also lower, everywhere across the board except for the 99.5. This is an exception. Leave out these guys. Leave out those guys, okay? In general, if you look at it, everybody in the mock 2, that is what we gave, got slightly lower marks to achieve the same percentile, which means somebody who wanted to get a 99 got 97 marks compared to the previous, which is 101. So definitely your mock 2 or mock 1 was easier than your mock 2. So in terms of difficulty, definitely CAT was higher. After CAT, it is mock 1. After CAT, it is mock 2. So it is mock 2 and then CAT. So actual CAT, mock 2 and then mock 1. This is the difficulty level standard. Now we have deliberately given the first 2 mocks slightly more easier than the actual CAT. If you notice, Look at the difference here. This is about 35.5 and this is 49. This is about 60 and this is about 74. So you're talking about 12, 13 marks only. What is 12 marks? 12 marks is 4 questions. That is in the entire paper. So if I give you one question easy or in one and a half question as an average easy per section, this is what we did. So we made 1 question, 2 questions and 1 question. Basically 3 to 4 questions we made it easier in the entire 66 questions, and that is what resulted in your mock number 1 and mock number 2. Okay, so this is for you to understand how is your actual CAT expected to be. So please understand your actual CAT will be slightly more difficult than what we have given, and of course people who have been writing our open mocks as well as our BYJU'S mocks will understand that our mock standard keeps changing. It's not that we can say what is actual CAT. Actual CAT is one level. If you compare a CAT over the last 3-4 years, there'll be a wave curve. Sometimes difficult, sometimes easy. So there is no particular thing called as what is the perfect CAT level. CAT level can be easy, CAT level can be difficult. So we will keep varying the mocks. Okay. Screen is vibrating. Is there a shake? Is the screen shaking, guys? Rohit says my screen is shaking. Is there some disturbance? Anyone? Yes? No issues? Okay, fine. Okay guys, so let's start with the verbal part. VARC. So what happened in VARC, or there is a little glitch. It's blinking. Bug issue. Okay guys, so there is a suggestion given by Shib and Kota. They are saying go to HD mode. If you're using the app, please shift to the HD mode, and the streaming is perfect. So it's not a problem. Looks like it's not a problem from my end. I think it's a glitch in the app or something like that. So please switch to the HD mode if you can. So result, okay, a lot of students are saying this. Aditi also says that. So please switch your resolution to HD mode. I think it is fine now. Okay. Anyway, so let's continue guys. Let's not debate too much on this. So what have we tried to do? What we have tried to do is to keep the essence of what is expected in CAT the same. So last year, over the 3 slots, you can see that there were 4 RC sets, and we have also kept the idea the same, the structure the same. We have the 4 RC sets coming to you. Then we had para summary, para completion, and para jumbles. We did the same para summary, para completion, para jumbles in both the mocks. Okay, and the number of questions were also kept the same, 3 to 3. So we didn't really play around with it. Para completion is basically that fill in the blank, and I believe in my experience of last year as well as the mock this year, these were actually easy to moderate, and this here also we have given both of them easy. So the scoring part would have been definitely these two. They were easy. Okay, and then the para jumbles, I've also gone through the para jumbles. Normally in CAT, para jumbles will be moderate normally. But last year they gave easy to moderate, and this year we tried to give easy to moderate. So a student who is average to above average would have got at least 1 question correct. Okay, at least 1 they would have got correct. And if you are good, you would have got 2 questions correct. If you are good, you would have got 2 questions correct. Then let's look at what happened in para summary. Para summary, however, this year rather in this mock, we try to change it and make it slightly more difficult. So you can see that the rating that we have given for the para summary as moderate, because there are 1 or 2 traps that students could have fallen. So if you are not sure of para summary, you should not have attempted it. If you are above average, you could have got 1 correct. If you are above average, you could have got 1 correct, or sometimes 2 also. Again, the difference between these two is the chance of you getting 2 questions correct is much higher than the chance of you getting 2 questions correct here, right? So an above average student will have a higher chance of getting 2 questions correct. The same student with the same preparation here will have a lower chance of getting 2 questions correct. That's what I meant. That is the reason why this is easy to moderate and this is moderate. And finally, to the RC. In my opinion, this time the RC passages that we have given are not difficult. They are straightforward. Many of them are straightforward. You don't have to scratch your head. Yes, there were 1 or 2 questions which are a bit ambiguous, tricky, but otherwise I would say a student who has prepared decently well could have scored nicely in this particular mock. The passages, other thing which I also realized is that the passages were not boring. The passages were interesting to read this time. The passages were interesting to read this time. If I start giving you philosophy and if I start giving you things like culture and lifestyle, that is where the passages become boring. But if I start talking to you about ecology, basically about sustainability, green energy, cars, hydrogen based cars and this and that, it becomes a bit interesting. So the passages this time you noticed were interesting to read, not as boring as what they come in your CAT. That is one of the catch points, because of which the reading could have been faster and the comprehension could have been clearer and perfect. Therefore, that would have led to a better understanding or better answering of the answers. Okay, I have got few more queries. Let me just quickly take a look. Sagarika, previous year's question paper of CAT is already there on BYJU'S Exam Prep app. So please go ahead and download the the previous year's the actual CAT paper with the solutions. Now, some of you are asking, what is a good score, guys? We will do that. I will definitely go to the good score. What could have been a nice score in this? But let's just hold on for it. I'm not going to skip it. Okay, so let's quickly go ahead and take a look at the questions, or rather the scores. So what happened here is, getting a 95 percentile, a student in this particular mock needed 33 marks, which means you're talking about 14 questions correct, or rather 16 questions correct with mistakes. So let's say you got 4 errors. So that's 12 into 3, 36 minus 4, which is about 32, 33 marks. Again, depending upon MCQ, non-MCQ, the calculation will change. I'm not getting into the specifics of it. I'm just taking MCQ everywhere. But usually in this 4 negatives, there will be 1 or 2 parajumbles which will not have any negative marks. So you will get about 33 marks or so. Now 16 questions you should have attempted with about 4 mistakes. So 4 out of 16, that's about 75% accuracy. This is doable. 75% accuracy in English is decent. It is not bad at all. Anything above 75, you are doing a good job. Guys, my standard in English is very simple. If you are 75% accurate, you are good. If you are touching 85%, you are excellent. Below this, I will not get into average, below average and all. Let's leave it at that. But your target should be to become good. 75% should be your accuracy. Again, how many questions should you attempt? Don't be in that mindset that in English I have to attempt everything. Many people have that mindset. English hai, sab kuch karna hai, mujhe 24 hi to hai, laga dunga sab kuch. No, it will not work out for you. Pick the questions. 16 to 18 questions is the sweet spot if you are having your 75% accuracy. If you are having 75%, imagine 18 questions with 1/4 wrong. 1/4 of 18 is 4.5. So 5 questions wrong. You're getting 13 correct, 5 wrong. Okay, 5 wrong. So 13 into 3 is 39. Minus 5, you'll be getting a 34. You will be getting 95 percentile. If your target is to go higher, then you should be attempting about 20 plus. Out of 20 plus, 1/4 wrong. Again, 1/4 wrong is basically 5 questions wrong, but 15 correct. So you will be touching your 40. If you're touching your 40s, you will start getting your 99s. Okay, also keep in mind that your accuracy should go up. Even if it goes from 75 to 85% accuracy changes, you will get another 1 or 2 marks easily. So keep all these things in mind and plan your strategy accordingly. Don't blindly go for more questions. Look at your target. What is it you're aiming for? If you are currently in that 70-80 percentile, target a 90-92 percentile. If you are already in a 90, target for that 98-99 percentile. If you are at a 98-99 percentile, you can go as high as possible. There's no limit. So there you should, if you're already at a 98-99 percentile in VARC, I would definitely say go ahead, try to attempt 24, but not forcefully. Not forcefully. So which means if you have an RC, you are stuck at it, you don't know what is the correct answer to this question, don't mark randomly simply because you want to finish 24. That doesn't make sense. If you're convinced, or even if you're half convinced, then only go ahead and mark. But if it's a bouncer, then please don't attempt it, even if you are at a 98-99 percentile. Okay, but let's go ahead and take a look at the questions now. Okay, I'm getting few questions, so I'm just taking a minute to read it. How many questions should get correct for 80 percentile? Namjoni, I think I've already answered that. Vikram says, sir, I'm not able to access the result of the mock in the BYJU'S app. It's showing not able to open the post. I think Anjali has answered that. Aditi says, for students facing issues, okay, that's Aditi from BYJU'S exam prep. She's helping out the students, that's fine. Sagarika says, what if we so good in VARC but nothing in other two sections? Will it affect the overall percentile? Of course, Sagarika. What you're basically telling me is that you're going to get excellent marks in English and you're going to get poor marks in the other two sections. So yes, you're going to be a topper in English, but overall your total will not add up, na? It's as simple as that. So your English alone will not help you. You need to be good in two subjects and average, above average in one subject, or excellent, weak and average. So depending upon it, your total is what matters in your overall percentage. So you can't get a very high score with only one subject, right? So please keep that in mind. Let's move on. Sir, was last year's CAT paper the most difficult one? No, Dipali. Definitely not. Last year's CAT paper is not the most difficult one. There are other papers that I remember which have been difficult, but I'm not getting into which CAT paper was the most difficult. Let's not get into that discussion. But no, last year's CAT paper was not difficult. It was rather moderate, I would believe, if I remember it correctly. But again, it changes from session to session. But usually, on an average, you can say it is about moderate level paper. It's not difficult. It is not very easy also. Raghoji says, in your opinion, what will be the number of questions in coming CAT exam? Raghoji, I expect the number of questions to remain the same. There could be a change in the pattern. For example, they went in DILR, they went from 6 plus 6 plus 4 plus 4 plus 4 plus 4 plus 4 to they went 5 into 4. 5 questions, 4 sets. So that way it could change, but I don't expect the number of questions to change. But again, that is CAT. They can throw a bouncer anytime, but my expectation is 90% chance that it will remain the same. I will always keep that 10% open because CAT is known to throw surprises. Okay. Sonia says, since LOD changes every year, how will we know if only 16 to 18 questions will help us score? Sonia, that's a very good question. Sonia says, if the level of difficulty changes every year, how will we know 16 to 18 questions will get us what we want? Sonia, what I mentioned here is for this level of difficulty. Now, as a part of our training, in fact, if you attended any of my workshops in BYJU'S, I'll always keep talking about how should you identify the difficulty level of a paper, because your attempts and your strategy for that paper depends on how difficult the paper is and in the fact that you realize that during the exam, not after the exam. So one of the very important features that you have to learn, or rather skills, not features, one of the very important skills you have to learn is within that 40 minutes, you have to understand the difficulty level of the paper. Now, to do that is an art, and that is what we keep talking to students about in our strategy sessions, because you have to, so for that there is a step-by-step approach. First, you should be able to benchmark your difficulty level. So if I give you a question, are you in a position to understand and grade it as easy, moderate, difficult? Or is it easy to moderate, in between easy to moderate, or is it between moderate to difficult? Can you grade it in these 5 grades? So what are the 5 grades? Easy, easy to moderate, moderate, moderate plus, or sometimes called moderate to difficult, and then difficult. Can any question that I give in any topic, can you put it in these 3 formats or in these 5 categories? If you are able to do that, that's a step number 1. Then the next step is we have a benchmark to call a paper. The paper can also be rated. The section can also be rated. individual section. So each individual section also can be rated in these 5 terms, and these are very simply based on how many questions can be rated as easy, how many questions are in the easy moderate, how many questions are in this moderate, and so on and so forth. So just for example, a paper will be called difficult paper in Quant, if I take it as an example, where your moderate to difficult questions are about 5 out of 22. 5 to 6 out of 22. I will call it as a moderate to difficult paper, and easy to moderate up to this level. This will have probably around 8 to 10 questions, and the remaining questions are moderate. The moderate are the remaining questions. So such a paper, I will call it as a difficult paper. An easy paper is one where moderate to difficult will only be 1 or 2 questions, and the easy questions will be easy to moderate questions will be a total of probably around 14 to 15 questions, or even 12 to 13, and then the remaining questions are moderate, about 6 to 7 questions moderate. So you should understand, and I'm not getting into the entire table of what is what, but this is the second step, understanding and benchmarking what kind of a paper is easy, what kind of a paper is easy to moderate, and so on and so forth. If you have these two perfected, and that is why you're writing so many mocks and sectional tests and topic tests, because the entire process of benchmarking this into your mind is what you are supposed to do, so that at the time of your actual CAT exam, when you start looking at the paper, automatically your mind will keep saying, okay, this is easy question, this is an easy question, oh, we have found about 12-13 easy questions, so it means this paper is not difficult. 13 easy questions, 14 easy questions मिल गए, 2-3 difficult questions मिल गए, तो moderate paper है, इसमें मारना पड़ेगा मुझे. Sometimes यार कुछ नहीं बन रहा है, 7-8 क्वेश्चन डिफिकल्ट है, समझ में भी नहीं आ रहा है, immediately should strike you, it's a difficult paper, goddamn difficult paper. यार इसमें ना मैं ढंग से accuracy perfect करके, even if I solve something like 13 questions, 12 questions, normally I solve 18 questions in Quant, let's say, but because the paper is extremely difficult, even if I solve 11-12, I should not feel bad, because it's an extremely difficult paper. 12 questions with 11 corrects, I'll be a topper. So that should be there in your mind. So that is how you need to understand to do this within the exam. For that, you have to practice as many mocks as possible, because the benchmarking has to be set. Every time when I take a workshop, when any of our BYJU'S members take a workshop, we talk about the difficulty level and making you analyze the difficulty level, understand the difficulty level. Is that clear? Who was that? Who asked that good question? Yeah, Soniha. I hope I answered your question, Soniha. Okay, Trinab says, what is a good amount of time to complete one RC? Trinab, again, if you are looking at attempting of around 18 questions, so I would say if you have to attempt 18 questions, depending upon what you're good at. If I have to attempt 18 questions, I would attempt 4 into 4, 16, and I'll go ahead and attempt whatever time permits, I'll attempt the VA, because my extreme strength is in RC. I really love RCs, I like reading, and that's why I'll spend a lot of time on RC. But again, you have to play to your strengths. If your strength is para jumbles, para completion, then I would probably say cut out one RC, 4 into 3, 12 questions, and go ahead and attempt that 6 to 7 questions from your VA. So now, if this is the case, you have a total of anyway 40 minutes. Subtract around 2 to 3 minutes, because it will be going as a waste without knowing where it is going. So you basically have around 37 to 38 minutes only. I would say 30 or 28 to 30 minutes should be ideal for your RC, and about 8 minutes for your VA. In fact, you can 8 to 10 minutes for your VA. You can make this a little bit more, 25 to 28 for your RC, and about 10 to 12 minutes for VA. This, I would say 10 to 12 minutes for VA if you are sure of getting some marks in VA. Okay, if you are not very comfortable about VA, you can bring down the VA to probably about 6 minutes and spend that extra 2-3 minutes in that English section RC itself. Okay, so you have to manage your timing accordingly. But I will say don't spend less than 25 minutes in RC here. 25 minutes में 3 RC तो कर सकते हैं. Okay, 3 RCs in 25 minutes is about 8 to 9 minutes. 8 to 9 minutes. So 9 minutes ago, if you take 9 3s are 27. So you need 27 minutes to finish an RC with questions. Please keep that in mind. Okay. Abhishek, mock 2 was definitely in the easy to moderate or easy level category. The mock 12, that is the first open mock. This open mock, I would call it as moderate level difficulty. It is not easy, it is not difficult. It is slightly easier than the previous CAT for sure. It is easier than the previous CAT for sure. Okay, and this is a bit difficult than the previous open mock. Kushal, again, guys, this is a good question I'm going to take up from Kushal. He says, sir, I'm able to solve moderate questions most of the times, sometimes difficult questions also. But when it comes to mocks, I'm not able to do that. Now, I'm sure this is a problem that many of you are facing, right? Many of you would have been facing this problem. Guys, why are you not able to solve the questions in mocks? First, when you solve questions normally, the questions come to you without a time pressure. Second, the question you're solving, you know this is a moderate level question because you're picking the question from that category. You know this is a difficult level question because you're picking the question from that category. The first problem is pressure of time, which I already spoke about. Second, which many people forget, is choice of selection. Many people forget, or rather don't learn, how to pick the correct questions. When I give you saying that, okay, isko solve karo, there's only one question for you to solve. There's nothing to think about. You start solving, you'll get an answer. But when I give you 10 questions and I say pick 3 questions and solve it in 2 minutes, that is where the time pressure and the ability to select questions come into play. So if you have limited amount of time and you have to select the best questions, that is the art that you need to develop. So when you're writing a mock, that is what happens. And when you're comparing it with a normal situation, there is no such requirement of selecting of questions. So when you write a mock, your choice goes for a toss, which means you're not practicing the analysis part post mock. So how do you improve this? After a mock, you need to understand how a particular mock was designed, what should have been the correct approach towards it, which is what is taught in the analysis part, which is what I'm trying to do right now. We'll get into that part also. So if you learn this, then slowly you'll be able to implement in the mock. If you don't, you'll always feel that, okay, in mocks my marks are low, but if I take the same questions you give to me later on sometime without time pressure, I'm able to do it. Oh, the ho gayi. Okay? It's like net practice versus playing in front of a 1 lakh crowd. There's a huge difference, right? Yeah, that's another thing, Shiv. You are also, when you pick questions, you're picking questions from time and distance or RC, this particular type of RC. But when it's a mock, it's all mixed up. So that's another thing. But anyway, that's a part of your question selection. Rahul says, how is sectional cutoff important? Rahul, sectional cutoff is important because for a lot of IIMs, you need to get a minimum sectional score. If you don't get that percentile in a section, whether you are the topper or not, doesn't matter, you will not be shortlisted. So to get into some of the IIMs, not everyone, some of the IIMs and some good colleges, they want you to get good scores in all 3 sections and an excellent score overall. So you have to meet all the criteria. Clear? Abhishek says some mocks have more questions from a particular area. He gives an example of more questions in averages sometimes, more questions in percentages sometimes. Yes, it is deliberate because we have understood and analyzed the last 5 years of actual CAT. There are cases where arithmetic, in fact, it's most of the time arithmetic, which has about 8-9 questions anyway. In that also, out of the 8-9 questions in arithmetic, there are instances where averages there are 3 questions. Time and distance, time and work, there are 4 questions. So they do that, CAT does that. So we are trying to just replicate the same idea. Okay, so that is deliberate from us. It is not that we are missing the point. We deliberately are doing it. Shreya says, what is the timing of open mock 3? Shreya, there is no such thing called as timing. The window will start. Then you can write it at any point in the day. Once the window starts from midnight, Sunday morning, early morning, to the next Sunday or Monday, it's going to stop. So in that 7 days, you can write any time. Okay. Sagarika says it's a bit difficult to choose questions within the time and then solve them also. Sagarika, I have a simple logic to you. Everything, and this is an advice for all the people who are in that below 90 or trying to touch that 90-92 percentile. Guys, divide all topics into good, average, and ugly. Okay? What is good? You love it. What is average? ठीक है, okay. Ugly, hate. You don't like the topic, nahi aata hai. Simple rule. First 20 minutes, especially in Quant, this happens in Quant. Make sure that you solve all your good topics in your mock, which means question number 1, topic that you love, go ahead, try to solve. Question number 2, topic is average, don't solve it right now. Question number 3, ugly topic, dekhte chhod do. Question number 4, ugly topic, dekhte chhod do. Question number 5, you from the topic that you like, good, solve it. So spend the first 15-20 minutes making sure that all 22 questions you're going through and you finished solving the good ones. Then the remaining 20 minutes stick to average or whatever is left out in this. Isko leave it completely. The hate topics are not for you. If you don't like averages or geometry, वहाँ पे triangle दिखा or circle you see or whatever, doesn't matter, leave it. Now you might ask me, what if it is easy? Well, doesn't matter. Easy tab hoga. Easy is when you know the topic. If you don't know the topic, even the easiest question will become difficult for you, yaar. So don't worry about whether the question is easy or not. It is a hate topic for you, leave it. So only 2 rules. First, divide all topics into these 3 categories. Second, the moment you see a question in the good topic, first 20 minutes solve it. Second 20 minutes, once again revisit the remaining average to remaining good topics, go ahead and solve. Don't even bother the ugly topics for you. Please stick to this, you will see your score increasing dramatically. Okay, I've seen this happening for a lot of students and that's been my advice for the last 15 years. It has worked wonders. And most of the good advice is simple, guys, always. Many people think that good, for a good advice you need to have complicated rules. No. Simple steps, simple rules will give you the best results. Kirti says, Kirti says, sir, does pattern change? In some mocks, VA part contains para completion. Yes, Kirti, we don't know what exactly is going to be the pattern. That's what I kept saying, right? CAT can ask any of the 4 into VA. Para jumbles, all para jumbles, para summary, para completion, and fill in the blanks. So they can ask you any 3 out of the 5 topics that you have. Okay, so we don't know. That's why we keep changing the pattern. Okay, let's move on, guys. Let's move on to solving of the questions. Now, first RC. How many of you found this to be difficult? What is the first RC, guys, according to you? Was this easy, moderate, difficult? What do you say? Right? Many of you are correctly saying it's easy. Some of you, 1 or 2 questions might be moderate, but 4 questions, if you attempt 4 questions, you should have got 3 corrects and 1 wrong in this. So let's go ahead and take a look at it. I'm not solving the entire passage. I'll just quickly go through it. It's already 11:49. We have 2 more sections. Which of the following statement best reflects the author's opinion? So the author was talking about electric vehicles and how the idea of electric vehicles is kind of opposed by certain sections of the society. That's what the author tries to talk about. Okay. So option A says the electric automobile has been embroiled in a cultural war against fossil fuel The automobile is not fighting any war. Please understand that. Okay, it's the idea behind electric vehicles and the idea behind your fossil fuel driven cars. So it's the ideology or the usage of that. That's what is the conflict. Second, politicians are trying to gain some advantage by politicizing the case for political vehicles. Again, is that the author's opinion with respect to the entire passage, or is there something else? Elon Musk has disrupted the car industry much more than any other individual or entity. The current US President Joe Biden is not interested in resurrecting the car industry. This is definitely nowhere mentioned that he is not interested at all. So that is straight away ruled out. Okay. Then between B and C, what do you think is the correct answer? The correct answer happens to be, oh, this is A. I think I missed something. Let me take a look. Which of the following statements best reflect the author's opinion? Okay, so this is actually the automobile industry. This is the entire industry. It's not just, okay, so I think that's the inherent meaning of the statement, which I probably read wrong. The entire automobile industry has been, anyway, that's what the passage was talking about, that there is a conflict between these two. That is what is clearly mentioned. So I thought the missing of the word industry meant that it's the car that they are mentioning about, but clearly that's not the intent. The intent was about the industry, which is hidden, which isn't mentioned. So the option anyway is option A over here, because the idea is what was there directly. Let's look at the second one. The author points out all of the following except for the electric vehicles except. So this was actually straightforward. They did not mention. Now why is this the correct answer? They mentioned about wealthy. However, the point, this is a trap actually. One part of the statement was missed. What is the part here? I think it's somewhere over here. Around the world. This is the word. Eco-conscious wealthy. What is the meaning of eco-conscious wealthy? The people who are rich and who are conscious about the ecosystem, the environment. So it is not that all wealthy are eco-conscious, right? So the statement that was given there is only talking about all the wealthy, which is incorrect. It is the eco-conscious wealthy who are getting into this. So that is the reason why this part is the wrong answer. Except means you are supposed to pick the sentence which is not directly mentioned. So here the thing which is missing is the eco-friendly wealthy. That is why C is being picked up as the answer according to the question. The other three have been spoken about. Electric vehicles are essential for environmental reasons. Anyway, that has been the theme of the passage. Electric vehicles emit no pollutants unlike conventional vehicles. That also has been mentioned. And the battle between electric vehicles and conventional vehicles is heterogeneous and complicated. That also has been mentioned. It is complicated. It has been mentioned. So this is the reason why option C is correct, because of that missing phrase. Okay, so that is the correct answer. But anyway, I'll not get into all the questions. So this is a trap. That's why I said you could have got 3 corrects and 1 wrong. That was a trap there. You usually would have missed that one small part. Which of the following conclusion follow from the information given in the passage? Car owners dream of owning cars, but the future may be public transport. In the near future, Tesla cars will rule the world. Again, Tesla cars will rule the world. Nowhere is it been mentioned. Tesla is one of the pioneers. Does not mean that they are going to rule the world. Okay. Electric cars will be driverless and totally controlled by technology. The demise of the conventional combustion driven car is inevitable. So this is basically what they have been talking about. So slowly and steadily, whether it's going to happen in 10 years, 15 years, 20 years or 50 years, the combustion based cars, so the cars which use your non-renewable or fossil fuels will slowly start going down, and that is inevitable. The rate at which it will happen, well, that can be debated, but inevitable means it will happen. It's like, some people die young, some people die old, but death is inevitable, right? So similarly, that will go down for sure. When? That's not the point here. So the correct answer happens to be here option D. Again, not a very difficult question over in this. So now if you want to rate these questions, guys, I would call this as easy to moderate. This, because of the trap, I will call it as moderate to moderate plus. And this I will call it as again easy to moderate. Okay, so now somebody was asking me, how do I learn what to pick or how to know whether the question paper is easy or difficult? Please remember, when you're analyzing after your mock, and that's what I'm doing every time, I'll not be able to do this, but when you are writing all these mocks and you are supposed to analyze after the mock, please go back and start marking each question according to a particular difficulty level. Or if you want to look at what we have given you, you can look at the difficulty level assigned by the BYJU'S system to the mocks also. And then try to see whether what you are saying and what we are saying, is it matching or not. Accordingly, adjust your difficulty level mapping. Do that again and again for about 10-15 mocks. You will be perfecting the art of knowing whether a question is easy or difficult. Clear? So this, it is not an easy task. Nothing is easy. You will have to do this again and again over a period of time. It's boring, but yes, you have to do it. Okay. Next and the last question. In paragraphs 1, 2 and 3, the author gives the anecdote about rolling coal to argue that there exists tension between electrical vehicles and conventional cars. Some people still do not support the rise of electrical cars. The tension is anyway there. It's there throughout the entire passage, I believe. Rolling coal has its advantages as well as disadvantages. Rolling coal. Now, the author is clearly in favor of electrical vehicles, right? Because that's how the passage has been narrated. So when somebody is talking about the advantages of EVs and the help they can do to the environment, usually they will not talk about the good that a fossil fuel based vehicle is going to talk about. So it's not about advantages and disadvantages of rolling coal, but it's more about some people still do not support the rise of electrical cars. So despite having all these positives about electrical cars, there are some people who are opposing it, like the company rolling coal. So that's one of the reasons. That's an anecdote that he provided to say that, look, though this is good, people are not going for it. There are people who are opposing it for various reasons. So that is basically the reason, and that's why the answer happens to be option B. But again, I will rate this as easy to moderate, or you can also argue it as moderate. Again, remember, rating is not perfect, but you have to know some general idea. It cannot be that some difficult question you are rating easy, some easy question you are rating difficult. It should not be that wide. But yeah, one level here and there, that's okay, yeah. Nobody is perfect. But if you are able to get within that range, you are doing a good job. Okay. Namjuni says, sir, if you practice arithmetic and algebra, is it enough to score 80 percentile? Namjuni, if you are perfecting arithmetic and algebra, it is enough to score 99 percentile. Forget about 80. 99 percentile you can guarantee with only 2 subjects in maths, 2 topics in maths, arithmetic, algebra. Okay. Anyway, let's move on. Okay, second question. Creativity is not endangered. In fact, we could be entering into one of the most creative periods. Okay, what is the rating for this passage, guys? Rating of this RC, quickly. Anyone? So this is not a passage. First, we need to understand the topic here. The topic is not something which is very, very interesting to everyone. Yes, if you are interested in such topics, it might be, but in general, it is not an interesting topic. Not as interesting as at least your cars and automobiles and what is happening with Elon Musk and things like that, because those are in the current affairs. So because the topic is not very nice or very happy to read, but it's not very boring also, so I would probably call this as around moderate. I will call this as moderate, slightly lower than moderate or in the moderate level, not more than that, simply because the topic is not very easy to read, very happy to read. Okay, let's put it that way. Let's look at the questions here. According to the author, enhanced creative power from natural settings may result in all of the following except. So this is basically you can eliminate the options. Foster many new occupations with nature as a base. That has been mentioned. Increase worker output as workplaces are filled with nature-rich products. That also has been clearly mentioned. In fact, I remember it reading somewhere over here. Where is that? Children in natural-based play areas and schools are often better at creating their own games, and they show fewer symptoms of attention deficit. Indeed, one study revealed that young people, after a few days immersed in nature, show significant cognitive improvement and a 50% increase in creativity. So all these things have been clearly already mentioned. Okay, so improving thinking, cognitive processes. So this has been mentioned. So this is not your answer. This has been mentioned, not your answer. This has been mentioned, not your answer. But here, it's not been mentioned that teachers will induce. So they will make sure that students will go and do this. Teachers should do it is what is mentioned. It is not mentioning that teachers will automatically do it. That is the reason why this is the correct answer. Okay. Next, the central idea of the passage. Usually central idea questions will be easy to moderate if the passage is understandable. Otherwise, by definition of the passage, your central idea matches. I mean, if your passage is difficult to understand, what is life, why are we here, what is happening, what is the meaning of true happiness, those kind of passages, by definition itself, because a passage is difficult to understand, the central idea will also go for a toss. But here, because it is kind of moderate, I would rate this question also as moderate, because you can get a sense of what is the central idea here. And as per the central idea, it's basically human learnings and creativity are enhanced in natural rich settings, which has been very evident as far as the passage is mentioned. It's basically saying that open fresh spaces, fresh air, being there in the wilderness, being one with the nature, basically improves the way in which you can think creatively. Okay, so that has been repeated with various examples, and that is the central idea of the theme or theme of the passage. Okay. Sagarika, that's a very good question. Sagarika says, many times given options are very alike to each other, so choosing the correct option is a tough task. Sagarika, when you're looking at two options which are very close to each other, forget the question. First, try to find what is the difference between these two. Many people, what happens is when you have two questions coming your way, two options coming your way, you make it too complicated by trying to see what is the correct answer. But I would first say, can you identify the difference between this A option and C option? Forget about what the question is asking. So A and C, that one difference, if you can find out clearly, that will help you in getting your answer. If you are able to identify that difference perfectly clear, automatically the answer will come out to you. Unfortunately, in this, we don't have too many options that are that close. So I can't use that as an example, but that's what I do. When there are two options, I'll first say, what is the difference? Why is A different from C? So the moment you understand the difference, the answer will be clear in front of you. Okay, but that's one advice that I have. Okay, Shivam is saying, how would I choose between A and D? Social, okay, let us see. Social intercourse in natural settings foster creativity and social productivity. Human learning and creativity are enhanced in nature-rich surroundings. Okay, so Shivam, actually, I think I can explain this using this particular thing. So, what is the difference between A and D? So, social intercourse. What does it mean? So this is basically social interactions. So basically what they're talking about is, if you are interacting with people in the natural settings, then it will increase your creativity and higher productivity. So here also you're talking about increasing in creativity and higher productivity in nature. But what is the missing link? What is the missing part between these two? This talks about interactions. Here it does not talk about it. The passage does not talk about where people should sit and talk. Yes or no? What is the passage talking about? The human being should be exposed or should be spending some time in the nature. That's all. What are you doing there? Are you walking there in the nature? Are you talking to somebody in the nature? Are you putting a amphitheater and watching movies in the nature? We are not commenting on that at all. So this, if you identified that A and D, the difference, they both look very alike. In fact, this is the perfect case to the question of what Sagarika asked. So if you identify that difference, the difference here is social interaction. So that is the reason why A is incorrect. Is that clear? Who was this? Shivam? Is that clear? So like this, when you come across two options which are close to each other, pick that small point which differentiates them, your answer will be clear. Surbhi says, sir, I forget after reading the passage when questions come to me. Do the reverse. Don't read the passage. And this is an honest advice that I give to some of them. Everything will not be suitable for everyone. Please keep in mind. So try it out. If it doesn't work, don't take it. So read the question and then search for it in the passage. That helps to some of the people. Okay. The author believes that environmental challenges are virtually insurmountable. The disconnect between the human mind with nature is a great opportunity for human restoration. Basically, this I would probably rate it as moderate. Environmental challenges are virtually insurmountable. This is not what he says, because he says that there are ways to go ahead and deal with it. Otherwise, why will he be talking about it? The passage would have talked about it is not possible at all, right? But that's not the language. Nature-rich settings and children's creativity are directly proportional. This has been spoken again and again. In fact, that's the theme of the passage. Teachers should spend more time and money on natural settings than on virtual environment. That is a direct statement from natural settings. Nature-rich settings and children's creativity are directly proportional. Oh, sorry, this has not been mentioned. Directly proportional has not been mentioned. What he says is there is some correlation. Correlation means, yes, if I go there, I sit there for some time, my creativity will increase. Does it mean that if I sit for 10 hours, it will increase more compared to sitting only for 5 hours? There is no research on that. Nothing has been mentioned. He says, you spend time, it is good for you. He does not say you spend more time, it's better, you're going to become that much more smarter or that much more creative. No, he does not say that. So directly proportional is a problem. So that's the reason why this is ruled out. Teachers should spend more time and money on natural settings than on virtual environments. He does not say about that also. Okay. Whereas the disconnect between the human mind and nature is a great opportunity for human restoration. That was mentioned in the first one or two passages itself, saying that it's not a bad thing that we are disconnected right now. That gives us a better opportunity now to become more creative, because we can do this and therefore become more creative. Okay. The author's conclusion that the nature enhances learning and creativity is based on the fact that, and I'm not getting into the details of this because again we are already at 12, I have 2 more sections, so let's just move on. But I hope by now you understood 2-3 points. One is, when you're looking at an RC analysis, go question by question, start rating it. That is question by question. Also understand whether the passage itself is easy, moderate or difficult. The logic is very simple. Good topics that you like are definitely easy to moderate because you'll read faster. Boring, dry topics which you don't understand are moderate, plus and difficult. That's the simple rule. Based on that, you should choose a passage. Okay. Second, when there are two options which are very close to each other, forget about the question. First, find the difference between the two. Why is A different from C or B different from D? Once you get that one point which is differentiating them, the answer is clear. Okay. So let's go ahead and I'll go to the end of this. I'm not going through all the questions now anymore. So because the solutions have been given, for those of you who have not written this open mock, please understand that all solutions have been provided. That is one of the reasons why I'm not solving them. But yes, I've solved few questions to help you understand how the analysis should be done. Okay. So let's move ahead and go through all of this. I'm not getting into this. You have, again, these were easy. This is an easy one, I believe. This was a moderate one, not very easy. Parajumbles by default will be slightly difficult, but This was actually an easy to moderate one. This 2143, a lot of students would have got this. This was a moderate question. It was not easy. Many of you would have made a mistake. So in this particular passage, I remember in this parajumbles, so this steady, so 2 and 3, basically these two are linked. The problem is, where do you start from? Where should one go? So many of you would have given 3, 2, 1, 4. But the correct answer is 1, 3, 2, 4. So the problem is between this and this. That is the reason why I would say it's either moderate or moderate plus, because you are starting with a word like still. Pau adds that the new study is an important look at the risks tropical forests face. Not an easy sentence to start with, to understand that you have to start with this. That is the reason why I will call it as a moderate plus. Okay. But let's move on quickly to the next passage, next section. Moving on to the DILR section, only 20 questions. And in this paper, you could have attempted 2 sets for sure. But if you pick the wrong set, you're dead. There are 2 easy sets. Let me tell you what were the 2 easy sets. But before that, let's take a look at the questions here, or rather the percentiles here. 80 percentile was 10 marks. Consistently in both the mocks that we have given till now in open, the 80 percentile was 14 marks. So both were kind of same difficulty level. You can see 20 and 18 marks, just 2 marks difference. 24 and 21 marks, just 3 marks difference. 33 and 28 marks, it's about 5 marks difference. So these two were kind of similar, but this was difficult than the previous one. But you can try to see that this and this. So CAT 22 once again difficult, then 15 difficult, then 12. Okay, so this is the same pattern as English, but in this turned out to be a little bit more difficult than what happened in English. Definitely this is not an easy section, this is a moderate section. Okay, but let's go ahead and take a look at the sets which can be solved. Yes, so this was a long set. If you are good in calculations, you can do this, otherwise you will spend a lot of time. This is a calculation intensive set. 20 marks SHIB in DILR is average. Probably that's about 6-7 questions. If you have got 10 into 3, 30 plus 30 with 2 mistakes. So 27, 28 would have been a really good score. 20, you can improve another 7-8 marks easily. Okay, it's a decent start. Not bad, but not great either. 28, 29, 30, that range would have been good, very good. Anyway, coming back to this. So here in this, guys, without solving too much, you can get 1 or 2 questions. You know what, how? Let's take a look at it. You had AB. So this is the piece of information, right? The percentage of marks obtained by all the students, you can leave that. The number of boys in AB Siksha Sadhan. So let's say boys, girls, boy, girl everywhere, is equal to the number of boys in CD. So number of boys in AB. So X will be equal to number of boys in CD. CD is also X. Okay. Which is equal to half the number of girls in EF. So let's take this as 2X and 2X. So EF girls will be X. And is also equal to 1/3 the number of boys in. Okay. So what I will do is I'll take this as 3X. Okay, let me change that a little. One-third the number of boys in Vidyalaya. So Vidyalaya, okay, equal to half the number of girls in EF. So EF girls, if I take 2X, so then this will be X and X. And is also equal to 1/3 the number of boys in GH. Number of boys in GH, I'll take it as 3X. You understand what I did? I took numbers which are easy for me to understand instead of 1/3, half and double. So if this is X, this is X, then this will be 2X, because AB and CD are same and it is equal to half of girls in EF. So if EF girls are 2x, then AB and CD boys are x and x. This is also equal to 1/3 of GH girls or GH boys. So I took the GH boys as 3x. Simple. This is done. Next, the number of boys in EF convent is equal to the number of girls in GH Vidyalaya. Number of boys in EF convent, where is EF? EF convent, Y, is equal to the number of girls in GH Vidyalaya. So this is Y, which in turn is equal to 3/4. Oh, so I'll take it as 3y, 3y. 3/4 the number of boys in IJ. I will take this as 4y. So if I take IJ as 4y, 3/4 of that becomes 3y. The moment I have this, I have two equations. Please remember, 2x plus 3y equal to 320. This is here. And I have 3x plus 3y equal to 420. So I'll get my x and y. Only by this much, I can get one question for sure. What is the total number of boys in the given 5 schools? I'll get my answer. Because if I get my x and y's, I can place all my other things, x and y's, x and y's, x and y's. Because I think there's one more given somewhere. Yeah, so this is 4y, this will be 480 minus 4y. This will be 250 minus x, and this will be 200 minus x. So I can get all my boys. I have two equations, two unknowns, I can get one answer directly. Correct? So without too much of solving, you got 3 marks. Now let us say you're not able to solve anything else. Let's go ahead and see what else can you solve. If the maximum marks of a exam was 500 for students of each of the 5 schools, then how many students obtained more than 400 marks? This you can directly answer, because when you're dealing with averages, you cannot count each individual, because that's not how average works. So if you have the average data of a school or a class, you will never be able to say how many students got this many marks or more than this many marks. Therefore, the answer cannot be determined. So a smart student would have done these two questions, the first and the fourth, and gone ahead. So to do first and fourth, you would have spent 4 minutes. You got 6 marks. Is that not worth it? 4 minutes, 6 marks, job done. Let's say two questions you can't solve. Good, don't worry. Even if you want to solve, it will take you a lot of time. Trust me, in my opinion, to solve the remaining 6 marks or the remaining 3 questions, you will spend another 7 to 8 minutes. It is not worth it. Because in 4 minutes, you already got 6 marks. Please leave the other 9 marks and go ahead. You getting it? And then of course, so you are basically 1 and 4 you can solve. 2, 3, 5 you should have left. That is the way to solve this question, or rather to attempt this set. That is the best way to solve this to attempt this set. So please keep in mind, guys, even in a difficult set, I will rate this as moderate or moderate plus. Not even moderate plus, because it has a lot of calculation. I'm not getting into the calculations part because that requires a lengthy solving of it. And I've already done that. In fact, I myself have recorded the entire solution to this. Please look at the solution. It's a detailed explanation there. But there are a lot of calculations involved. And that is the reason why I would say don't do these 3. Okay. So, but yes, even in a difficult set like this, 2 questions were achievable. So don't leave the entire set. Read the questions. Understand the set. You'll spend 2-3 minutes in understanding. Understand the questions. You'll spend 1 or 2 minutes in understanding. So 4 to 5 minutes. Even if you can get 1 or 2 questions, it is worth it. Okay. Next, this again was a long set. And if you do this correctly, I mean, out of 5 questions, there were, I think, 2 questions which were dicey, because it required, in fact, the first question, what is the total number of different possibilities? This was a moderate plus. You have to count everything, not an easy task. Then this, what is the total number of different possible combinations of credits taken by Cyril if he decides to do major in finance or marketing but does not do a minor? So you have to do major in finance and major in marketing. Now, if you try to only solve this one question, you will take about 3 to 4 minutes and you can get the answer, because you'll realize that you cannot do major in marketing. So look at the statements. If anyone is doing a major in marketing, then he must do at least one minor as well. So it's a straightforward thing. If somebody has to do a major in marketing, he has to do a minor, which means no minor and only major cannot exist. So the question is only talking about major in finance. If you're doing a major in finance, so you're getting 4 credits in finance, then you need 2 everywhere, because that's what the statement says. If anyone is doing a major in finance, then they must do at least 2 credits from each discipline. So you are getting 4, 2, 2, 2. So total 10. Now one more credit is remaining because you need total of 11. Where will it go? Now wherever you put, it will become 3. So the only place to put it is here. So you have to break it as 5, 2, 2, 2. Then only you will get 11. Now the question is which 5 will come. So that is what you are supposed to calculate. So 6C5 into 4C2 for marketing into 5C2 for marketing into 4C2 into 4C2, because these are totally 4 subjects each. This is marketing 5 subjects, finance has 6 subjects. So 6C5, 5C2, 4C2, 4C2, that is your answer. So once again, a difficult looking set, one easy question. So if you understand the set in 3 minutes, take another 2 minutes, 5 minutes, you got 3 marks, good, get out. So you finish 2 sets. Remember, in 10 minutes, you got 3 questions, which is not bad, because you finished the 2 difficult sets. You could have gone to the other 2 which are now relatively solvable. That is the idea. And you have how many minutes left? 30 minutes left. Okay. Anyway, so this set solution also, I'm not getting into it. It takes a long time to get into the solutions part. But again, I would rate this not moderate plus, but moderate, because the calculations are not very intensive here. Just you have to be careful in the cases that you're writing. Okay. So let's leave out these questions. Let's move on to, okay. This, how do you rate this one, guys? The third one, logic. How is this set? Very quickly, let me see how many of you say it's good or doable. What is the answer? How do you rate this? Easy, moderate, difficult? This was easy to moderate. In my opinion, you should have done this. Because firstly, small data. Second, logic with not many cases. And the cases also that you're getting will be clear, crystal clear. Okay. The thing is, if you miss the cases, again, it's gone. But if you get the cases, there will not be too many ambiguous cases. Okay, we'll see why or how it is. Rohit says unconventional games, didn't understand what's going on. Well, if that's a problem, it's a mindset. Please write down what is happening here. You will start realizing that it's not that big a difficult question at all. So you have Saral, Tarun, Nitish and Aditya are playing a card game. Initially 44 cards are equally distributed and they have 22 pairs. Each pair consists of 2 identical cards. And there's an extra card given to one person. They didn't say which person. So totally 45 cards. So this 45 cards have 22 pairs and 1 single card. Now they're distributed randomly, so you don't have all pairs together. Now, but you can have some pairs. So basically what happens is you start taking out 2 cards if you have a pair, and you throw out the pairs. So you are left with some number of cards. After you take out, each person takes out whatever is common with them. So totally 11 cards were left with all the 4 of them, and they were shuffled now. They were shuffled and again redistributed. So basically what happens, 11 cards means 5 pairs plus that 1 individual card. It is given in such a way that Saral got more than Tarun and Tarun got more than Nitish and Nitish got more than Aditya. There is only one way in which 11 cards can be distributed, that is 5, 4, 3, 2. Is it 5, 4, 3, 2? No, 1. I think I made a mistake. Sorry. 5, 3, 2, 1. 5, 3, 2, 1. This is the only way. If you want to divide 11 into 4 parts, where the first part is the highest, then the next highest, then the next and the next, none of them are equal, then the only way you can do that is 5, 3, 2, 1. So these are 5 cards, these are 3 cards, these are 2 cards, and this is 1 card. Now please understand, it has 5 pairs and 1 individual card. So let's say the 5 pairs are AA, BB, CC, DD, EE, and the last card is F. So now you'll start making the cases. The F card can go to Saral, case number 1. Then F card can go to Tarun, case number 2. F can go to Nitish, case number 3, and F can go to Aditya, case number 4. 4 cases you'll have, because these are crystal clear cases, because the differentiating factor is F. So where can F go? F can go to 4 places. Then you'll start realizing that, okay, 1 or 2 of them are not possible, because when you start arranging, you will start seeing that they are not possible. For example, if you say F is going here, if you take the case where F is going to Tarun, then is it possible? You will see that A, B, C, D, E, because now Saral should have all 5 cards different, because there is nothing common with Saral. Otherwise, you would have thrown out. So all 5 are different. The only way in which 5 cards are different is A, B, C, D, E. Now Tarun has A, B, C, D, and E. Okay. Now according to the conditions, you will start looking at it. Saral and Tarun have 2 cards common, 2 pairs with them. Saral and Tarun have 2 pairs with them. Saral and Naveen also have 2 pairs with them. C and D, C and D. The question clearly says that the maximum number of pairs which are common is there only with one set of people, which means there cannot be 2 people having 2 pairs common, because 2 is the highest pairs possible in this scenario. So F cannot come to Tarun. So like that, you will start looking at what happens if F goes to each person. So 4 cases you will analyze, you will get your answers. But this will take you ideally 10 to 12 minutes. It is worth it, because if you do it correctly, you will get at least 4 corrects, 1 wrong. So you would have spent 12 minutes, or let's say even 15 minutes, 4 corrects, 1 wrong. So you got 10 minutes over plus 15 minutes over 25 minutes. You got 4 plus 3, 7. You have another 15 minutes. Can you get 3 more? If you get 3 more, 10 corrects, 2 wrongs, you will be 28 marks. Job done. You are an 99% percentile. So the picking of the set was the important part here. And not just picking of the set, when you're leaving a set also, can you do part of the set and get out? That is the important question. Okay. Okay, so anyway, these are answers. The answers are there. You are not getting into the answers part here. Again, this I'm sure if you have done it correctly, you would have got all 4 correct. Worst case scenario, 3 corrects and 1 wrong. This again was a definitely easy set. It is not even easy to moderate. This was an easy set. Everybody should have done that. This was probably a sitter of the 4 given sets. Okay. So what is basically happening here? Basically what they're saying is, so basically what they're saying is there are cars which are parked on each day, and a particular state's car has, one color belongs to one particular state, which means black can belong to only one state. You can't have one car black going to one state, another black going to another state. So if there is black, the entire black will go to one state. Similarly, if you have a blue, the entire blue will go to one state. So start looking at this. Green. So if you look at Delhi totally how many are there? What is the total here? By the way, this has to be 1 plus 0. So Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and you have Delhi, UP, PU, HR and Rajasthan. Okay, so if you're looking at Monday, blue line, you're starting with 5, so Delhi is 5. Okay, then UP is 1, then PU is 2, then again this is 1, and Rajasthan is 0. Then if you're looking at Wednesday, Wednesday is the orange line, Delhi is 0, UP is 2, then PU is 0, then 1, and then 1 again. And then finally if you're looking at Friday, Friday is a grey line. The grey line, Delhi is 1, then you're looking at UP is 0, then PU you're looking at 1, HR 1, and Rajasthan 2. So Delhi has totally 6 cars, UP has totally 3 cars, Punjab has 2, Haryana has 3, and Rajasthan has 3. Now take a look at it. Green, there are 4 cars. Green, there are totally 4 cars. Where can green go? Which city can be green? Because remember, all 4 greens should go to one city only. Now, the maximum here is 6, the maximum here is 3, 3, 3, 3. So definitely Delhi should be green. So all these 4 should be going to Delhi. That is a simple logic, right? So which means this is green, and out of these 5, 3 are green. The other 2 we don't know. So that is the logic with which you have to start this question. Similarly, and then there again you keep applying different types of logic. So for example, if you look at Friday silver 2, look at Friday. Friday only Rajasthan has 2. So Friday only Rajasthan has 2, so this has to be silver. So Rajasthan is silver. And you have to keep looking at comparing this table, and you start getting the answer. It is not at all difficult. You could have done the entire set in 10 minutes flat. 10 minutes the set would have been over. Okay, so you would have still been left with 3-4 minutes to recheck your answers. So you could have easily got 28 to 30 marks in this paper of mock, and I would rate this paper as moderate or slightly above moderate, or in that moderate range only compared to CAT paper. And if you're getting around 30-31 marks in this, you can expect similar kind of performance in your CAT also, because in my opinion this came very close to CAT, probably one question easier, that's all. One question easier. So there could be 1 or 2 marks lesser in the last year's actual CAT compared to this. Okay. Okay, let's move on to the final part, but before that we look at the scores and move on. Quant is the final section. If you notice, we kept saying this. Last year we had 9 arithmetic, and we are keeping similar kind of similar number of questions from arithmetic. It's not just last year. Over the last few years, arithmetic has been one of the most important part of Quant. Out of 22 questions, 8-9 questions have been coming from arithmetic. Okay, the second highest happens to be algebra, and we are also trying to make sure that algebra is as close to reality as possible. So 7 to 8 questions, so we are varying between 7 to 8, and the others we are experimenting. But we have noticed that modern math last year had a variation, so we have been varying in the open mocks also in the same way. So we are trying to replicate as nearer an experience of a structure compared to last year. Anyway, let's look at the scores. What happened? Yeah, so with respect to the paper, the last mock, open mock, was almost same, very close I will say. So CAT 22 was difficult than your mock 12, slightly difficult, but this was definitely difficult, more difficult than CAT 15, mock 15. So mock 15, if you notice, 44 marks versus 33 marks. So there is a difference of 12 questions, 11-12 questions, 11-12 marks, 4 questions. 4 questions in one section is not an easy task, which means this mock 15 was easy, okay, compared to the previous mock. And previous mock was almost similar to CAT 2022, slightly easier, just 1 question easier, but this was 4 questions easier. Not even one question. You can see the difference here is less than one question, 2 marks. Right? So this was a scoring paper, and people who have been good in maths, you could have scored excellently in this. Okay, let's go ahead and take a look at the questions. Questions like this, you can, simple in the first round, you can do it. Ideally, arithmetic, nobody should leave. All arithmetic questions, you should try to do it in the first round, in the first 15 minutes, finish off those 8-9 questions in the first 15 minutes of your round. Then move on to the other sections that you like. Nobody should leave arithmetic without preparing. Arithmetic and algebra are a must. Okay. So you can go by the options, or you can go by whatever. So basically starting with a number y is becoming y plus 1 plus x by 100, and then it is becoming 1 plus 3x by 100, and this final value is y into 1.43. So y anyway will get cancelled, you can get the value of x from this. But instead of getting the value of x and solving it, I would rather say start putting the options. Don't start with 5. My advice, don't start with numbers which are difficult to calculate. Start with numbers which are easy to calculate. Okay, so you can start with 10 or 20 and eliminate. If everything is eliminated, then automatically 5 is the answer. Whenever you have an option which is difficult to calculate, leave it. Check all others. If that is the answer, then anyway you are discarding the other 3 options. Then that will be the answer, or else one of the other easy ones will be your answer. Clear? Nivedita is saying, I'm taking 22 to 23 minutes per set. Nivedita, that only means that your preparation in the 5-6 topics that I have recommended regularly has not been thorough. It means you're very slow. An ideal time to solve a set in DILR is about 12 minutes, 10 to 12 minutes. Okay, if you're trying to solve 2 sets, basically I would say 30 minutes max, and the remaining 10 minutes pick one more set, get 2 questions, whatever you can. That is the ideal way to look at it. So this will be 10 attempts, and this will be around 2 to 3 attempts. So totally you'll be attempting 12 to 13 questions. That's the ideal way. So you're too slow, which means you have to practice a lot more such problems. Okay. Okay, Quant from a sports academy of 250 students. This is again a Venn diagram question, but Venn diagram about, okay, let me rewrite. It's a Venn diagram about who is failing or not selected. So cricket, football, badminton. So 90 students were rejected in cricket, 80 students were rejected in football, and 120 students were rejected in badminton. Totally there were 250 students. Find the number of students who got rejected in all the 3 sports if 20 students got selected in all the 3 sports. So where should this 20 be? See, remember, this is circle representing rejections. So outside means all selected, all 3 selections. This is 20. So this total should be only 250 minus 20, which is 230. So 230 students are within the circles. Now start arranging it. 20 got selected in all the 3 sports, and 42 students were rejected in exactly 2 sports. So exactly 2 rejections. So if I call this A, B, C, D, E, F and G. So D plus E plus F is 42. Okay. So exactly 2 is 42. Exactly 3 we don't know. Exactly 1 we don't know. But we know that exactly 1 plus exactly 2 plus exactly 3. If you add these 3 ones only, you will be getting 230, which is what this is. Now add the circles. When you add this circle and this circle, the total is 90 plus 80 plus 120. That is 290. Correct? 120 plus 80 is 200 plus 90 is 290. But you will add exactly 1 once. This E, D, F will be getting added twice. Plus this G will be adding 3 times. So you know the answer to which one do you know? Exactly 2. Yeah, this is known. So E2, E1 and E3 are unknown. 2 equations, 2 unknowns, your answer is done. But I will still call this as moderate. It is not easy, or moderate plus, because it's a little bit lengthy. You have to do this, then write 2 equations, solve it, then get your answers. So I will call it as moderate to moderate plus. Probably not in the first round if it is not your favorite area. For me, Venn diagrams is favorite, so probably I would have done this in the first round. But if it is not your favorite area, don't do it in the first round. However, if you go to the previous question, definitely it is about easy to moderate, little bit of calculation, definitely in the first round. So when you're analyzing also, please make sure that your analysis talks about the difficulty level and should you do it in the first round or not. By rule, the hate topics or bad, ugly topics will not even be there in the attempts. Should not attempt it. Okay. Again, the moment I see this, for me, geometry personally, I hate it. I see this, I leave it. If time permits, I'll come back. Because I do things, quant is my forte, I do quant very, very quickly, I will have time to come back even a third round. But otherwise, usually my recommendation is first round, second round, 25 minutes, 15 minutes, game over. There's no third round for you, don't even bother. Then ideally, third round is only for those who are very, very quick in maths. Okay, so I will check this. Okay, this is not for me, leave it and go. But if you are good in geometry, you'll realize it's not a difficult task, because you will know the theorems and you'll see that all these are same. All these are same. So if I change the color, because that's one of the properties of a median. A median divides a triangle into 6 equal parts. So if you can get the area of the triangle, you can get whatever answer you want. So area of the triangle with 3 sides given, you know the formula of Heron's, root of s into s minus a, s minus b, s minus c. A little bit of calculation, but you know the process is in front of you. You have a calculator, you can find out, because on-screen calculator is there if you want, but you can do it basically using your mind much more faster. If you want to do this very, very quickly, this is semi-perimeter is what? 10, 20, 30, 34, 37, 42, 42 by 2, 21 into 21 minus 13 is 8, 21 minus 14 is 7, 21 minus 15 is 6. So 8 into 7 into 6 into 21. Again, please don't multiply them. Try to take out factors. So I have 7 into 3, 21, 4 into 2, 8, 7 into 6 is 3 into 2. So 7, 7 will come out. 3, 3 will come out. 4 will come out as 2 and 2 2s will come out as one more 2. So this is your area. How much is this? 21 into 4, 48. Oh, sorry, 84. 21 into 4 is 84. This is the total area. I want 1/2 of it, because 3 darker portion. So half of this is 24 or 42. So answer option A. Simple. So if you're good in this, you would remember the theorems, you will remember the formula, you'll get the answer. I'm weak in it, I will not remember it, I'll leave it and go. Or even if I remember it, it will not even strike me. That is the reason why I will not attempt it in the exam. Okay. Once again, it's a P&L question, not very difficult, ideally to be done in the first round. It is probably about easy to moderate. Simple P&L question, right? This, how do you rate this, guys? How do you rate this question? Let me see. Let me see how many of you can answer this. We'll close it in another 5 minutes, 10 minutes. So very, very quickly. Anyone? Easy, difficult, moderate? No answers? Is there a lag? So this was a moderate question for 2 reasons. One is the idea should strike you. Second, a little bit of calculation. So again, I have a thumb rule. Simple idea, simple calculation, easy. Okay. Simple idea, bit of normal calculation, not simple, normal. I will call it as easy to moderate. or rather moderate idea. When I say moderate idea, what does it mean? Moderate idea means not very common, not easily found. So uncommon, let's put this. Uncommon idea and no calculation, simple calculation is moderate. So in this there are two ways. Either the idea, so the other thing is simple idea, lengthy calculation will also be called as moderate. So either the idea is unique, calculation is little, I will call it as moderate, or idea is very simple, calculation is very big, I will call it as moderate. So either way it will be moderate. And then of course after this it is difficult, which means calculation bhi nahi aata hai, idea bhi nahi aata hai. Let's leave that. So here the idea that you need to understand is, look, two perfect squares adding up to 0. You should first realize that two perfect squares adding up to 0 is only possible when each value independently is 0. So it means 4a plus 3b equal to 46 and 5a minus 8b equal to minus 13. It's a simple idea, but calculation is a bit lengthy because you have to multiply this by 5, you have to multiply this by 4, get the value of a, get the value of b, then you have to get this. That is the reason why I am putting it as moderate, because the idea is okay, everybody knows 2 perfect squares getting me a 0. It only means that both perfect squares should be individually 0. But the calculations are a little bit lengthy. So you can call it as easy to moderate also. To moderate, I mean, well, pick one. It's always debatable. As I said, don't get too caught up in what is the perfect level of it. It's not the idea for us to figure out what is the perfect level. In that range, if you are able to identify, that is good enough for you. Okay. So yes, many of you have said easy to moderate and moderate. So perfect. That's fine. That's you're in the right track. Kirti says, does 3.3 lakh registrations increase the percentile score in any of the IIMs? No, Kirti. The percentile score requirement will be the same. Mostly the percentile requirement will be the same. Don't worry too much about it. Yes, technically, theoretically, the percentile requirement will be higher, blah, blah, blah. Don't worry about all of those. For now, don't worry. Okay. Ashmita says, sir, do we get a paper for rough work, table and stuff? Yes, you will get a rough work sheet and pen provided to you by the CAT examiner. So you are not allowed to carry any of those. You are allowed to carry only a hall ticket and your identity card, or probably a hand sanitizer. That's it. Nothing else. Everything else they'll provide. Yes, a water bottle is also allowed. Please don't carry any jewelry, any metal. It creates problems every year. Belts, everything, keep it outside. Don't carry any jewelry also. Preferably not to carry. Okay. Anyway, so let's move on. Okay guys, I'm not solving this, but I want to understand this. What is the rating for this? Shib, you will get multiple sheets. Don't worry about it. You will get multiple sheets. Ashmita, what tables are you talking about? You will be sitting on a desktop, na? You're talking about multiplication tables? I don't know what you're talking about. This is difficult. This is difficult, not moderate. This is not moderate. First, idea is not common. 2, calculation is very lengthy. Okay, it is definitely in the difficult terms. I will not even attempt this in the exam. Okay, so the solution to this I have already recorded. It is there for you in the app. So please look at the recording. It's a lengthy solution and the idea that is being used is not very common. Okay, so that's one of the reasons why it is difficult. Ashmita, DILR tables will not be there for you in the paper given to you. Paper is a simple white rough sheet. Whatever you have, it will be there in the front of you in the screen, on the screen. That's it. Nothing else. Everything else you will only have to draw. Okay. Now, once again, this is a easy to moderate question, not very difficult. Why? Because the only thing is calculation is not lengthy. Idea is known. So basically what they are saying is, if you are adding up They are asking you what is the find the number of terms. So Tn, n is how much? Second last term is 194. So the idea here is a common idea if you are good in progressions. So the idea is Sn minus Sn minus 1 gives you n. This is the idea. If you don't know the idea, please don't say it is uncommon here, because if you are good in progressions, this idea is known. Obviously, if you're not good in progressions, the idea is not known. Again, easy or moderate depends on whether you know the topic or not. I keep saying that again, right? So if I know the topic, you should call it as easy to moderate. If I don't know the topic, by default, it will become difficult for me because I don't know the idea behind it, right? So the Sn minus 1 is, and this is the logic, because when you have S3, for example, it is T1 plus T2 plus T3. What is S2? T1 plus T2. If I subtract this, what will I get? I'll get T3. So S3 minus S2 gives me n, which is 3. T3. Tn, not n, Tn. So that is the logic we are going to use. So substitute this n directly, which is already given to you, and put n as n minus 1. So this 4n square minus 2n plus 11, this is 1. Subtract this from substituting n as n minus 1. 4 times of n minus 1 whole square minus 2 times of n minus 1 plus 11. So this is what you need to subtract. What you get here is Tn. Okay, so you will get your answer very, very quickly. That's not a problem. You will get your answer. So that's the reason why I'll call it as easy to moderate, because it is not lengthy. Calculation is not lengthy. This is just expansion and then cancellation. But it will take you about 40-50 seconds. That's it. Anyway, let's move on. Again, time and work. We have a lot of such questions coming our way. But again, I hope I proved my point of how to calculate something as easy, moderate, difficult. Guys, again, the purpose of today's session is not to solve the questions. I keep saying this. I showed you how to rate the questions in English. I showed you how to rate the questions in DILR, and how do you make sure that 1 or 2 easy questions can be picked up from even a difficult set. In maths, what is the learning? Again, we have learned how to rate. What is an easy moderate? What is a moderate? What is an easy? Difficult by default means you are not understanding anything. Okay, so that is the learning from maths. Again, I'm not getting into the solution for each one of them because the solutions have already been provided. So with that being said, let's quickly move to the end of the session today and see what overall score was required, and then we'll end the session. It's already been about, you have a session coming up. Many of you have a session at 3 o'clock also, I believe. So let me end this with a total score comparison. So this is the overall mock total. So if you're looking at mock 15, VARC, DILR, QA and overall, so 99 percentile is at 97 marks. 99 percentile was at 97 marks. 90 percentile was 63 marks and 70 percentile was at 40 marks. This is the overall for CAT 15 mock, which is the most recent open mock. Okay. So as I said, how do you analyze mock? First, understand what questions you got correct and what questions you should have attempted. So 3 things. Should have attempted, how many corrects, how many wrongs, and why did you get wrongs? This is the first thing. What all you should have attempted, list. In that, how many you attempted and how many you made a mistake. Why did you make a mistake? Last, why did you leave? Some you would have left. Why did you leave? What is the reason? Understand that reason. Correct it. Second part, should have left. Obviously, should have attempted. The remaining are should have left. In this, did you attempt and did you get correct? How many did you attempt and how many did you get correct? Don't be happy about this. You should have left it. You attempted it, which means 99% of the cases you have spent a lot of time. So you should not be happy about this 3 marks. Why? You would have spent some 7 minutes and got 3 marks. It's a waste of time. Better you should have left it. Look at what you have done there. Second, many questions you would have left after wasting time. You have left a lot of them after wasting time. Please understand, this is what happened. You should not let that happen. And finally, some of them, your worst cases, you wasted time and got mistake also, -1. Time bhi barbad, mark bhi gaya. So this is why it's very important for you to understand which questions you should have left. Okay, and this itself will take you at least 1 hour because you're doing it for the entire paper, 1-2 hours. Then the second step will be start mapping every question, difficulty level wise, and see whether what you're mapping is matching with what we are giving you. Take what we're giving you as the standard. Get your benchmark correct to what we are giving you. Do it continuously for every mock, and that you'll slowly start seeing an improvement in your skill to pick the questions and an improvement in your mindset to identify whether a question and therefore a section is easy, difficult or moderate. With that, my friends, I will bring the session to the end. I hope you have got some knowledge about how to analyze. Now, as I said, the purpose was not to give you the solutions, but the point was to make you understand how should we go about analyzing a paper, how should we go about attempting the paper. Thank you and all the very best in your CAT preparation. Have a wonderful Sunday.